The silence you think is hurting you is the same silence that's slowly undoing her. And if you truly understood what no contact does inside a woman's mind, you would never beg again. Listen to me carefully. I'm not here to flatter you. I'm here to show you what most men destroy with their impatience. When you go no contact, you are not playing games. You are triggering a psychological process that almost no one talks about. Honestly, in the beginning, she feels relief. Yes, relief. When you disappear, when you stop texting, when your name stops lighting up her phone, her nervous system calms down. The tension of unresolved emotion fades. If there was conflict, pressure, emotional intensity, that space feels like oxygen. She tells herself this is better. She convinces her friends she's fine. She posts normally. She may even look happier. And this is where weak men break because you mistake her surface behavior for her internal truth. Relief is not indifference. Relief is the first layer of defense. It is the brain stabilizing after emotional overstimulation. But here's what you must understand. Relief has a short lifespan when attachment still exists. When a woman has invested emotionally, even if she walked away, her brain has built neural pathways around you. Habits, anticipation patterns, dopamine cycles tied to your attention. When you vanish, those pathways don't disappear, they go quiet. And quiet creates space. Space creates thought. At first, she fills that space with distractions work, friends, social media, maybe even another man. But distractions cannot replace emotional imprint. They only delay reflection. Then something subtle begins. She checks your social media not because she misses you yet, but because she's calibrating. Are you reacting? Are you chasing? Are you posting sad quotes? Are you spiraling? When she sees nothing, something shifts. No emotional outburst, no indirect posts, no drunk messages, just silence. That silence becomes information. It tells her you are not controlled by the breakup. It tells her you are not panicking. And whether she admits it or not, that unsettles her. Women are highly attuned to emotional movement. When a man who once pursued suddenly becomes still, it disrupts her internal narrative. She expected pursuit. She expected at least resistance. But you gave her absence. And absence forces the ego to ask dangerous questions. Why isn't he reacting? Was I not as important as I thought? Did he already detach? This is not about revenge. This is about psychology. When someone expects access to you and loses it, their brain registers a loss of control. And human beings struggle more with loss of control than loss of affection. You see, during this early stage, she still believes she could come back if she wanted to. That belief protects her from regret. It gives her emotional leverage in her own mind. But your consistency is what removes that leverage. No contact is not silence for 3 days. It is not ignoring her story while secretly watching hers. It is emotional discipline, and discipline is rare. When she realizes you are not breaking, not checking in, not reacting, the relief starts to fade because relief depends on knowing the door is still open. If she senses the door might actually close, something deeper begins: curiosity. And curiosity is the first crack in certainty. You must understand this. Women do not move toward regret immediately. They move through layers of self-protection first: relief, distraction, ego reassurance. But beneath all of that, attachment does not dissolve overnight. It waits. And your silence is the environment where it begins to breathe again. If you break no contact too early, you interrupt the psychological process before it matures. You relieve her discomfort for her. You validate her choice. You remove mystery. And mystery is what reactivates emotional value. Right now, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Because in doing nothing, you are forcing her to feel everything. Stay still. Stay grounded. Stay disciplined. The real shift hasn't even started yet. After relief fades, something much more uncomfortable begins. She starts noticing your absence in moments that used to belong to you. Not dramatically, not in some movie-like breakdown. It's subtle. It happens when she reaches for her phone to send you something funny and remembers she can't. It happens when something good happens in her day and your name is the first one that flashes in her mind, then disappears. This is where stage 2 quietly forms: emotional comparison. Now, understand this carefully. Women process attachment through emotional memory, not just logic. When you're gone long enough, her brain begins replaying the highlight reel. Not the arguments, not the frustration, but the comfort, the laughter, the way you made her feel safe at 1 a.m. Memory edits pain over time. The intensity of conflict dulls faster than the warmth of connection. That's neuroscience, not romance. The brain protects itself from stress by softening negative recall, but positive emotional imprint, that lingers. And if she tries talking to someone new during this phase, the comparison becomes brutal. The new guy might be attractive, he might be polite, he might even check boxes on paper, but emotional depth isn't built in weeks. It was built with you over time. She starts measuring, not consciously at first. Does he understand her humor the way you did? Does he challenge her? Does he feel familiar? Familiarity is powerful. Familiarity equals safety, and safety is what the nervous system craves when novelty wears off. Now, here's where men often sabotage everything. You see a picture of her out, you hear she's talking to someone, and you panic. You assume you've been replaced. But replacement and emotional displacement are not the same thing. Attention can be replaced quickly. Attachment cannot. If she invested in you, if she imagined a future with you, if she allowed herself to be vulnerable, those emotional deposits don't evaporate because you stop texting. They sit there quietly accumulating weight. And the longer you stay silent, the heavier that weight becomes. Stage 3 begins when curiosity turns inward. Instead of wondering what you're doing, she starts wondering why she's thinking about you. That question disturbs her because during the breakup, she likely constructed a narrative that justified her decision. Maybe you weren't ready. Maybe you weren't attentive enough. Maybe the timing was wrong. Those reasons helped her walk away. But when your absence creates emotional longing, it challenges her story. Cognitive dissonance forms. If I was so sure, why do I miss him? This is where ego meets emotion. Her pride doesn't want to admit regret, but her nervous system is signaling loss, and loss activates attachment anxiety. Even in women who appear confident and independent, you must understand attraction grows in space. Not because space is magical, but because space allows imagination to work. And imagination almost always exaggerates value when access is removed. When you were present daily, she had full visibility, full access, full emotional data. But now you're unknown, and unknown reactivates intrigue. She may check your activity again. She may ask mutual friends subtle questions. She may reread old messages. She may even type your name in her search bar and delete it before pressing enter. All signs of internal movement. But she won't show it yet because this stage is private. This is the stage where regret hasn't fully arrived, but certainty has started cracking. And here's the key. Your consistency determines whether this stage deepens or disappears. If you break now, you relieve her uncertainty. You reassure her she still has access. And when access is restored, curiosity dies. But if you remain steady, emotionally unavailable, focused, her mind fills in the blanks. And blanks are dangerous because the brain prefers painful clarity over ambiguous silence. If she cannot categorize you as desperate, angry, or chasing, she has to consider a possibility she didn't expect. You're moving on. And the idea of you emotionally detaching often hurts more than the breakup itself, because now the power dynamic feels different. And that shift is where regret starts to grow roots. This is the stage most men never see because it happens entirely inside her. By now, your silence is no longer confusing. It's unsettling. She expected emotional noise from you, a reaction, a crack, some sign that you were still orbiting her. But when weeks pass and you remain composed, something changes in her nervous system. Control slips. And when control slips, anxiety rises. This is where real regret begins forming. Not loud, not dramatic, but heavy. She starts replaying the breakup in detail. Not just what you did wrong, what she did wrong, the words she used, the tone, the timing. She begins asking a question she avoided before. Did I walk away too quickly? Understand something powerful. During conflict, emotions distort perception, but distance restores clarity, and clarity can be uncomfortable. Without daily distractions from you, she has to sit with her own role in the ending. Maybe you weren't perfect. No one is. But now she sees the effort you made, the consistency, the loyalty, the way you showed up even when things weren't easy. When you're present, effort feels expected. When you're gone, effort feels rare and rare becomes valuable. At this stage, she may test the waters. A casual like on an old post, watching your story quickly, maybe even an indirect message, something neutral, low risk, emotionally safe. This is not random, it's reconnaissance. She's trying to measure your temperature without exposing hers. If you respond instantly with excitement, you reset everything. You communicate that you were waiting, that nothing changed, that she still holds the emotional leverage. But if you respond calmly or not at all, you reinforce the reality that access to you is no longer automatic. And that reality forces her to confront loss fully. Now, here's where it gets deeper. Women attach not only to a man, but to the future they imagined with him. The trips, the inside jokes that would evolve, the growth, the stability. When no contact stretches long enough, she doesn't just miss you. She misses the version of herself she was becoming with you. And that can be disorienting, because now regret isn't just about losing a partner. It's about losing potential. She may start comparing timelines. Would things have improved if I stayed? Was I too emotional? Was he actually growing? Doubt creeps in quietly, and doubt erodes pride. This is the stage where ego and heart fight. Her ego says he'll reach out eventually. Her heart says, what if he doesn't? That question creates pressure. The longer you remain grounded, improving, unbothered, the more her internal pressure builds, because now she has to imagine a future where you are genuinely unavailable, not reacting, not circling back, not waiting. A future where another woman experiences the man she left. That image can trigger something primal. Loss of exclusivity, loss of emotional security, loss of influence. And when influence disappears, attachment intensifies. But here's the truth I need you to understand. This stage only happens if your no contact is real, not performative, not silent while secretly stalking her life. Real detachment, real growth, real redirection of energy. Because women sense authenticity. If your silence is strategic but emotionally desperate underneath, your energy will leak through the cracks when contact happens. But if your silence is grounded in self-respect, it shifts the entire dynamic. She begins seeing you differently, not as the man she left, but as the man who didn't crumble, and strength revealed through restraint is more powerful than strength displayed through dominance. This is where regret stops being a thought and starts becoming emotion, and emotion is what moves people to act. Now we arrive at the stage most men fantasize about, but few are prepared for. This is where regret stops being silent and starts searching for relief. By now, enough time has passed for reality to settle in. The distractions lost their shine. The comparisons became exhausting. The ego softened under the weight of uncertainty. And your continued absence has done something powerful. It removed emotional predictability. Human beings are addicted to predictability in relationships. Even conflict becomes familiar. Even tension becomes routine. But when you disappeared and stayed gone, you removed the emotional anchor she subconsciously relied on. Now she feels the full space you once occupied. This is when regret becomes physical restlessness, random waves of nostalgia, a song triggering a memory, driving past a place you both went and feeling a tightening in her chest. Not because she can't survive without you, she can, but because she didn't expect to feel your absence this deeply. And here is the critical shift. Earlier, she believed she could come back anytime. Now, she's not sure. That uncertainty is what transforms missing you into fearing the loss of you. She may start rationalizing reasons to reach out. A "how have you been?" A birthday text, an inside joke resurfaced. Something that sounds casual but carries emotional weight underneath. This is not coincidence. It is an attempt to reopen emotional access without admitting vulnerability. And if you've done the work, if you've truly focused on yourself, rebuilt your confidence, strengthened your discipline, you will feel the difference in her energy immediately. It's softer, more careful, less certain because regret humbles. But listen to me closely. This stage is not about winning her back. It's about deciding whether she now qualifies for the version of you that grew in her absence. That's the part men forget. No contact was never about manipulating her into missing you. It was about forcing both of you to confront reality without emotional crutches. If she reaches out from loneliness, you will feel it. If she reaches out from ego, you will feel it. But if she reaches out from clarity, from genuine understanding of what she lost, that feels different, slower, intentional, vulnerable. And here's the final truth most men never hear. Sometimes regret comes too late. Sometimes she realizes your value after you've outgrown the version of yourself that would have taken her back without standards. And that is not tragedy. That is growth. Because the ultimate power of no contact is not making her regret losing you. It is making you realize you don't chase what chooses to walk away. Now, I want you to be honest with yourself. If she texted you tonight, not out of boredom, not out of ego, but because she genuinely felt the weight of losing you, would you respond from strength or from the same attachment that once made you anxious? That's the real equation. Self-respect, temporary emotion, growth, validation, discipline, impulse. Tell me in the comments which side of that equation are you on right now? And if this opened your eyes in a way no one ever explained before, like the video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with a man who needs to hear this before he breaks his silence too. Italy.